LeBron James has won Player of the Month. So LeBron James, who's been absolutely on fire since the Lakers traded for Luka Doncic, he's been great. Now the question is, could he have a strong enough finish to this season to warrant some MVP conversation? Could he join the conversation with the likes of a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a Nikola Jokic? Could he enter that conversation? Well, currently he's averaging 24.8 points per game, 8 boards, 8.6 assists. And it's not just that. I mean, everyone looks at the offensive statistics, but defensively, there's been the buy-in. JJ Redick has said recently that his defense has been at an all-NBA defensive level for the past 6 weeks. And he's leading by example. He's running players off the three-point line. He's committed defensive switches, and he's continuing to play with max effort on that side. And since the Lakers traded Anthony Davis, who is an elite defender, you would think, well, the defense is going to drop off, right? It has to be. You're trading away elite defense for elite offense in Luka. That has not been the case. Since the Lakers traded Anthony Davis to the Mavericks, the Lakers have the second best defensive rating in the NBA, in the association, a 106.4 defensive rating over the past 7 games. And before that, it was on the uptick as well. No team in the league has scored more than 102 points against the Lakers in their last 7. They've gone 6-1 in that stretch. Now, if you look at where the Lakers are at standings-wise, that has a lot to do with it, because kind of one of the unwritten rules of the MVP award is how good is your team? Are you the best player on the best team in the sport? And right now, Shai's numbers will tell you that he's the best player on a Thunder team that's 50-11, 11 games up from the Lakers. So the Lakers, they have climbed, right? I mean, they're already the second seed, 38-21 for the purple and gold, but 11 games is too big of a gap to think that they could close that on the Thunder to finish with the best record in the West. So we know that's not going to happen. And then you look at where LeBron James is at. I mean, you look at the championship year in 2019 and 2020, he was second in the MVP voting that year. And I think this is the issue. This is the issue, I think, that we're seeing here. I think a lot of Lakers fans that want LeBron James to join the MVP conversation want him to win a Lifetime Achievement Award. That's not what the MVP is. The MVP is not graded on an age curve. It should not be taken into consideration that LeBron James is playing this good at this age. That's not how the MVP works. If you want to have a whole second award called the LeBron James Award for who's the best oldest player in the league, then you can start that conversation. But that is not what the MVP award is. And then they have Luka. Is LeBron James the best player on the Lakers at this point? I don't think that's the case. Luka Doncic had some off shooting nights by his standards, but in their last game against the Clippers, he was Luka again. You were seeing the points and the assists and the way that he controls the offense. So I think that you look at where LeBron James at, I think that what he's done at this age, he deserves all the credit and then some. I don't think it's been talked about enough in the national media. They want to focus on silly stories that have nothing to do with how great he is. That should be really what is discussed when mentioned about LeBron James. They should have scientists and doctors and people on talking about how the hell that he's able to do this, like I said. But the truth is, Jokic and SGA are just having better individual seasons. The Joker's averaging a triple-double with 29.2 points per game, man. 29.2 points per game, 12.6 rebounds, 10.4 assists. And then Shai, he leads the league in scoring, 32.3 points per game, and then they have the best record. So the Lakers are close as far as being the second closest, but I don't think he's having a better year than the Joker. He's not having a better year than Shai. And look, let's just be honest about this. I'm not saying that LeBron was mailing it in for the first part of the season, but LeBron certainly wasn't playing at this level in the last 6 weeks for an entire year. I think part of the MVP, you have to give it to an entire year's body of work, and every game counts. So while LeBron has been awesome for the last 7 weeks, He wasn't at this level for the entire season like Joker and like SGA. And like I said, you should not get bonus points just because you're older, okay? It's not great on the age curve. Stats, they're good. They're still not as good as those two guys. So I do think LeBron deserves a lot of love, a lot of credit. He needs to be studied. He needs to be studied. This does not happen ever. This is completely abnormal for a guy to be aging backwards. He's drinking vampire blood. I mean, he is the NBA's version of fine wine, the way he's aging, but I think that there's probably a 5% chance that LeBron James wins the MVP. But what say you, J-Rob?
I mean, I do think to start the season, LeBron James got off to a bit of I want to say a slow start for his standards. He only averaged about 22 points. But I think from January on, he really kicked it into gear. I will say this. I'll play a little devil's advocate to the idea of why people think he deserves votes. Now, my MVP is SGA. But in terms of Nikola Jokic, I do feel like as great as Nikola Jokic is, he's the one top level player who isn't curved or his standard of performance is ever based in his ability to play defense. The Denver Nuggets are actually one of the worst teams in the NBA in protecting the rim, and their best player is their center. I think you can tell in some of the games they've lost this year, defensively, they're not the same team. A lot of people put Jokic in pick and rolls and try to exploit him at the rim, but also making guys like Aaron Gordon and Russell Westbrook beat you from the perimeter. I'm okay with LeBron getting a vote for third place or second place, even fourth place. I don't think he's number one, but I don't feel like it's the argument for him this season is, whoa, this 40-year-old man, so we should be giving him this lifetime achievement award. I do think because of how special he's been this season, people are kind of like forgetting that he's 40 because it's like, this is getting ridiculous. I mean, I saw Kendrick Perkins say today, I mean, are you sure LeBron James is not the best player in basketball? And I think I don't think he's the best player, but I do think on any given night, he can be the best player on the planet.
I think just the fact that he's in the conversation, I mean, he's not the best player in basketball. I mean, but I think the fact that you can make the case, like, as you point out, on a given night for a particular moment, he doesn't look like he's fallen off. Like he has not fallen off the cliff. And we thought he was going to fall off the cliff years and years ago, but it still has not happened. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, how did he do last night? You have a good game. Let's see. 51 on 18 of 30 shooting, 7 assists, 5 boards, 2 turnovers. It's going to, look, if you look at the FanDuel odds right now, SGA has a minus 600 chance of winning the MVP, followed by Jokic at plus 500. Then it goes way up. Giannis is ahead of LeBron at plus 30,000. And then LeBron is tied with Jason Tatum at 50,000, plus 50,000. So I'm giving LeBron James the MVP award this year, most valuable oldest player in the NBA. That is the LeBron James award. He's getting that. He's getting every single first place votes. That is his award, but he's not going to win the MVP. But still, the fact that the King is playing like this does not need to have we just talked about Kyrie Irving having to have the ball in his hands and leading the league in minutes since the Luka trade. Well, guess what? LeBron James doesn't have to have the ball in his hands a lot now. He can preserve some of that energy, keep that gas in the tank to close games. And I think that it's not about individual stuff for LeBron. It's about team success at this point. He wants to make a deep run and finish with one more title before he hangs them up.